I'm Pippa Hale, I'm an artist. In my practice, I'm really interested in geography and history and about connecting people and places. The Bowes Museum is this wonderful jewel in the idyllic market town of Barnard Castle, and it looks like a stately home, but it was never designed or used as a residence by its founders, Josephine and John Bowes, and it's full of huge collections of textiles, paintings, ceramics, furniture and silverware. And when I was invited to work with their ceramics collection, I was confronted with over 5,000 objects, which was a bit overwhelming. So I decided to focus specifically on figurines of pets. Pets are domesticated animals that are kept solely for companionship, and they've been part of our lives for over 16,000 years. And today, about 51% of UK households own a pet. And we love our pets, and so this seemed like a good starting point that people might find interesting. And so Pet Project is an exhibition in 3 parts. So here we have 24 giant-size cats and dogs recreated as beanbags, and they're 18,000 times bigger than the original objects. And I chose the Staffordshire cat from 1825 and the Berlin dog from 1768 because they're painted in completely different ways. The cat is a rapid form of decoration where the glaze is like literally slapped on, and the dog is much more considered and detailed. And so I've painted 2 of the beanbags in these original styles, and then visitors can paint the others over the course of the exhibition.
They are technically different materials and different levels of consumer. The dog is in porcelain. That's a high status material. It was made in Berlin, which was a roll factory in the 19th century when it was made, and it seems to be a very accurate depiction of a spaniel with the markings correctly done. And then it's obviously a pampered pooch because he's on this cushion with golden tassels, and it's been to the kill at least 3 times to complete it, so it's a very high status, expensive object. The poor little cat, by comparison, is made not of porcelain but pottery. That's not translucent. It's much more crudely made. I think it's probably made by pushing some clay into a very simple and crudely modelled mould, and then probably perhaps fired once, but then decorated within the glaze with these colours kind of blotched on, like yellow and black and green base, very possibly by children or women who might get paid like 6 an hour, something like that. There's obviously a production line, goes off to a fair or market, sold for a few pennies, and in fact quite a rare survival. They're not kept. So the porcelain, the upper class thing tends to be kept, the working class thing tends not to be kept.
So in order to realise the exhibition, I've worked with a number of fabricators, including the Great Beanbag Company in Nottingham, to make these huge beanbags. The dogs are 2.5 metres high and the cats are 1.87 metres high.
Generally speaking, the pattern is put into the CAD, so you drew the original pattern, so put that into the CAD system. From there I can work out the best yield from the materials as to then what width we can give or the depth. So when it's stood upright, it's width, when it's laid down, it's depth. So then we can work out what we could do within the price constraint. And from the price constraint, then we made the first samples, and that's when we started jumping up and down on them, and then, okay, what tweaks do we need to do? Once we finally agreed that was the final pattern, we then was it along to a lock stitch sewing machine. We put them together with a lock stitch sewing machine. Once it's sewn together, we just fill the beans in the floppies and load the floppies in, and that's it.
Visitors can also paint ceramic objects in the makerspace. So the cat and dog have also been recreated as bisque earthenware multiple times. So people can paint their own pets using the original techniques.
So it starts off with a slip, with a clay slip. It's then poured into a plaster mould after 10 to 15 minutes, the excess slip is poured out, which leaves the hollow cast piece. It's then left in the mould for, again, about 20 minutes, just enough that it shrinks away from the sides of the mould so that we can open the mould up and release it easily from the plaster mould. So then it's left again, usually for a few hours then. It needs to dry hard enough so that it can go to the next process, which is the fettler and sponger, where she will fettle all the seams away and she'll sponge it to a smooth finish.
And lastly, there's a selection of about 50 objects from the collection that are on display alongside those loaned by local people. And the idea here is to continue the collection established by Josephine and John by including contemporary objects into the canon of art history, albeit on a temporary basis. It's about raising up people's personal and treasured objects to the same status as those in the collection, and to say that those are important and they reflect who we are today.
We have this fantastic historic collection of art, which was amassed over the course of sort of 10, 15 years, primarily by Josephine Bowes. And what we are now is a journey to unpacking what that work means. We want to sort of think of how we tell that remarkable story, we show the fantastic collections to a new audience. And the opportunity to work with contemporary artists to do that, in terms of showing their own practice alongside bringing a sort of new take and new ways of looking at the historic collection, is exactly what the museum's about.